The playoffs are getting closer, and we have a great matchup today with Kansas City versus Detroit. We've kind of been slumping a little bit, losing our last few games here in a row, putting us at 6-5 for August. Let's see if we can get back on track, and we're going to back the underdog here. Kansas City Royals at plus 130 with Ian Kennedy on the mound. He's pitched very well over the last few games, and I think he can keep Detroit in check. He's pitched well against Detroit as well. I'll talk about that in a second. Versus Daniel Norris and Detroit, one of the better statistically hitting teams in all of baseball, but their last 10 games they've been slumping just a little bit. They could struggle today. Norris, very hittable, young guy, pretty decent starter, just got called back up from AAA, but I think value-wise, it really lies on Kansas City, and that's where I'm going to make my play here at plus 130. Let's talk about these guys. We got Ian Kennedy getting the start for Kansas City. He comes in this season, 3.91 ERA, 1.20 whip. He won his last start against the White Sox allowing just one earned run, and that's been the theme for him. The last few games, he's pitched really, really well. He's only had one tough start in his last 10 where he allowed 7 earned runs off of 4 home runs versus Cleveland. Just a horrible start. But outside of that, his other 9 starts, very, very good. He allowed 4 runs just once, and that was against the Angels. And outside of that, he's just been really solid. And what I really like today, though, in his last 10 starts, including the Cleveland one, he hasn't allowed more than 6 hits in any ball game he's pitched in his last 10 starts. He's really starting to come around. He could come in and pitch very solid today. As well against Detroit, he's allowed just a total of 3 earned runs, 2 runs one time, and then 1 his last outing against them, against the Tigers this season. So he has the capability of coming in and putting up some zeros against a good Detroit hitting team. Kansas City, very different road hitting team than at home. I've made note of that in the past, but recently, this last road trip, they're hitting the ball well. They scored 21 runs total in 3 games in Minnesota. They're coming off a really good performance yesterday where they scored 11 runs off of 16 hits. They can come in with some hot bats here and score some runs off of this guy right here. We got Daniel Norris getting the start for Detroit. He's coming off a pretty good start. Let's take a look at it. Against Seattle, he allowed just 7 hits in 5 innings against the Mariners. That was 1 earned run, so he pitched well in his last performance. He's been kind of back and forth between AAA and the majors this year, but at home, overall in his career, not great numbers, an ERA, over 5, and he's had some struggles at time, but he's a young guy, he's got a career ahead of him. Still, the value, though, I think that puts it right on the Royals, on top of the fact that Detroit has not been swinging the bats very well outside of yesterday where they scored 7 runs, but combined in their last 10 games, they're averaging just 3.3 runs per game, so they've had their struggles. They had a little bit of a losing streak. They bounced back with 2 wins in a row, but still, value-wise, overall, I'm going to back Kennedy and the Royals here at plus 130. I think it's going to be a good series. I don't expect Detroit to sweep Kansas City. And I think Kansas City has a very good shot of going ahead and winning this first game. So I'm going to back them on the plus money line. That's my Major League Baseball play today. And wish you guys luck on your plays today.
Do your research before you bet. Check out our ratings guide to see which books have the best ratings and sign-up bonuses. Open up several accounts and shop for lines at sbrodds.com. Always be ahead of the game.